Shoe Army.
Shoe Army. Hello, everybody. You might have noticed we've got the right, this is what?
It's what all the cool kids are wearing this weekend.
Apparently so, but I'm going to
take mine off now. That's enough of a point.
Hello, everybody. Actually, the other cool kids are wearing these things.
Well, that's the really cool kids.
More of that shortly. So, hello, everybody. Live from South Northamptonshire, or recorded anyway.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
Only just.
So who are you, Mrs. Saunders?
I am Lis Saunders, and I am newly elected chair of the Northampton Saint Supporters Club. First female chair, I believe. And what a week to be elected.
Hey!
So I'm long time Saint supporter, all round rugby, Norse and general.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. And I live in South Northamptonshire, which is where we are in my workroom.
How is he? Is he all right?
Oh yeah.
Is he a bit overcome?
I think he does look as if he's had a bit of a heavy night, doesn't he?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we won't be alone in that, I'm sure.
And I'm Claire Jones.
Yes, who are you?
And I've only just taken my red hat off, as you can tell. Oh, look, the phone's going now. It's all happening. I've only just taken my red hat off. We're busy. Don't you know we're recording a pod?
So, do apologise. Nobody's going to pick that up, and it'll go to
the
answer
IT department are watching the game.
They're re-watching the game. Both of them.
With T, because there's no I in T. Bye.
Bye.
Whoever it was. Oh, no. We don't just throw this show together, but we throw this show together.
It's my mother.
Oh.
Hi, Mum.
Yes.
I'll phone you back.
Hello, Mum. She's a lovely lady. Your mum.
She is.
Yes.
She's rattling on about something, though.
Good on her.
Goodbye.
All right. Anyway, I'll go back to who I am. Yep, all right, you've done your bit. I'm Claire Jones, and I've only just taken off my red hat because it's been stuck to my head for the best part of 2 days. We've just got back from the celebrations, which we'll talk about after we've talked about yesterday. In fact, the weekend.
The weekend, just the general weekend. It's been a lot of media tartary.
Well, your part, yeah.
That blasted answer phone's going to be beeping now. I might get the IT department in to sort it out.
Oh, right, okay. So if anyone... Oh, yes, that is really annoying. IT department! Yeah, we're on form today.
Yeah,
it's all on.
To be honest, we're wrecked. We are not as wrecked as some people we know, but we are wrecked.
Yeah, pretty wrecked.
And the IT department is ignoring us.
IT department, could you come and deal with the answer phone, please?
Oh, we'll have to pause.
Oh, well, should we pause?
Yeah.
Pause.
This is just...
It's all gone to hell in a handcart, ladies and gentlemen.
It certainly has.
Anyway,
right, where were we?
Yes, so we've had a bit of a weekend.
And
if you're a Saints supporter, it's unsurprising that you've had a bit of a weekend. So we will talk a bit about the rugby because we have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it being a final, it needs.
It needs to be mentioned. Yes.
And actually, the whole experience at Twickenham, which started for me on Friday, and you've got your media tartness to talk about, which just seems to be ongoing forever. Yeah. And then we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about last night at the
talk about the game much, though, will we?
Well, there were bits of it.
Yes.
We'll talk about post-match at the stadium.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what happened at the Gardens because it is tradition. And then we'll talk about the magnificent performance of the whole town today.
Yeah. Been brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And congratulations to everybody involved who set that up because, well... It was
special.
It was special.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it all started, I think, when you were on the radio.
I was on the radio. It wasn't just me. We went into Radio Northampton on Friday morning. I think it was Friday.
Yeah, I know it seems a long time ago.
Lost track of time. So I had to be... I'm retired, so early mornings, I don't do early mornings, but we had to be there for 7:30. and was there, and Sue Waller, who happens to be a very good friend of ours,
yes,
she was
very
there
good.
as well, and Maz Avery, another friend, and then Val Laws was there, and then Heather and Chris Parr came in, other friends.
Yes.
It was like Party Central.
Yeah.
Party Central.
I hope they provided you with tea and biscuits.
No tea and biscuits. But
Graham?
Well, poor Graham was until Chris Parr came in, he was feeling heavily outnumbered by women.
So, Graham, come on, Mr. Percival, come on, Mr. McKechnie, tea and biscuits.
Well, I don't know. Have you ever tried BBC tea?
Well, no.
It was well, it used to be disgusting. I didn't want it.
One slice or two.
Yeah, it was horrible. Anyway, so that was started Friday morning, and it was great fun. And then Graham felt it was little balanced when the Northampton Male Voice Choir came in.
Oh, yes.
And they were recording. Yeah. They recorded their bit, and it was very much a party atmosphere on Friday morning at 7:30
lovely.
at Radio Northampton with the lovely Annabelle.
Lovely Annabelle.
She's very funny. She knows how to make Graham blush.
Always
good for a laugh.
More power to your elbow, Annabelle.
So that was that. And I'd also recorded something for Heart FM as well, a little bit for that. So I went commercial because the Beeb didn't seem to be that interested, and then they came back to me when I told them I'd gone commercial.
More of the Beeb.
So that was my Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my Friday was a trundle down to Twickenham. My IT department and I decided to head down to Twickenham a day early, basically to avoid the trauma of the A406, because Wembley was having yet another series of finals, and then of course we got our game at Twickenham, so we decided to do the softy route. And as it turned out, it was a good idea because the squad actually went down a day early too. Mm-hmm. So I actually got to do what they call the team run. They don't call it a captain's run. Oh. And it's there's been some discussion about this. So to explain, they do this thing called 150 touches, which could sound quite inappropriate, but actually, it's
some of the things I saw last night. Yeah, very much
practice run. It was 150 touches of a ball. It doesn't matter what ball it is. There was footballs. There were cricket balls. Oh God, there was some very strange bowling going on. Oh, okay. And Sam Matavesi carving the ball to all four corners of the stadium. The high point, though, was Chris Kemp crashing through the advertising that they very carefully put out. So I can't imagine Bath were doing that. Radders was busying himself playing Aussie rules.
Oh, good Lord, that's a combination that's rather terrifying.
Apparently he put a bit of a sweat on.
Oh.
Right, yes, he told me later. So it was great fun wandering around with the cameras, and the vibe in the camp, as you would imagine, was very up. And it was just lovely to be there. It was really, really good. So, and then we watched a succession of the Glitterati arrive in the hotel. Oh, so we had the whole of the TNT commentary team.
Oh, sorry, that Glitterati.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean we're not talking A-list here.
Barely on any list.
They arrived and then swept out in a taxi. One look at the hotel and off they went for dinner. Well, actually, the hotel wasn't serving dinner. Oh, the IT department were not happy. Anyway, and then the refereeing team turned up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's the second time this season I've been in the same hotel as a refereeing team. Munster.
Oh.
Anyway, they came in and they were fine. And then the following morning, I bumped into the lovely Sarah Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah, at breakfast, who was very excited about the game, really looking forward to it. Is actually doing a bunch of work for the RFU, as you would expect.
Oh yes, yeah.
In her role with England, which she is thoroughly enjoying, which is great to hear. So it was an incredibly relaxed.
Did you only have to walk down the stairs then to go to walk? Well, go in the lift.
It was 3 floors.
Oh,
it was a long journey, 3 floors. But the thing that actually made it, because one of the traumas is queuing up for your accreditation and then trying to work out where you're allowed to go and where you're not allowed to go. Whereas, thanks to Jack Miller, it was all sorted on the Friday afternoon, so I got me right bib.
Oh, brilliant.
And Kate from the RFU explained where we could go on the pitch. Now, in 2014, if I'd gone on the pitch, lightning would have struck me. But yeah, no, I had an appropriate bib and I could go on the pitch. Of course, there were different requirements if we won versus if we hadn't won. You can imagine. But now, the only time I winced was later on when I found out that they wanted us to lie down.
Sorry, lie down?
For the trophy lift. I declined that kind offer, which Dave Rogers was really pleased that I'd done that because it meant he didn't have to do it either.
Lie down!
So you're like, well, you can't move. I mean, you just, no.
Why do they want you to lie down?
So the guys behind have got a shot. And I went, look, kneeling up, I know, I don't think they're that short. They can see over my head. So, yeah, the idea was that we were 5 metres in and they were behind us. And we pointed out that we have zoom lenses. So, you don't need to do the moving forward bit. So, yeah, so my Friday was incredibly relaxed.
I have to say mine wasn't, because we had to take a small boy to the doctors to have his knee glued. So he fell at school, Harry. Harry fell at school.
Harry!
And got a bit of a gash on his knee.
We need you ready for pre-season.
Well, no, he'll be fine.
Under 10s he'll be next year.
He will be under 10s.
Step up.
So we had to go and get his knee glued, and it was really important because he was off to cub camp at the weekend, and Alfie was going to join him on Saturday morning. They were doing camp, and it all went fine. Got his knee glued and steri-strips and everything.
Top work.
So he was fine, and he did milk it a bit. It was a bit of a drama queen, but but he's fine. I was going to say, I say he's fine. The last photographs I saw, he got crossbow or a bow and arrow.
He's not bumped into Tom Wood, has he?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think everybody's fine. I'm sure I would have heard if they weren't.
Yeah, if there's a small-scale massacre in South Northamptonshire, you'd have known it. Yeah. Somebody would have mentioned it to
Cubs, yeah.
Cubs laid waste.
Watch what you're doing with that,
crossbow.
Harry. Yes. You'll have somebody's eye out.
Hey!
All the old ones are here.
Just trot them out one more time.
Anyway, so that was my Friday. So it was.
And then Saturday morning, you were at it again.
I was at it again.
This time on your bus.
Live from my bus to Radio Northampton. Live from my bus 3, coach 3. They were very loud. It was all very good, all very jolly. And I have to say, the coach operation seemed to be really slick. Well done, Christy. So I said to the IT department, we need to get to the coaches much earlier than you think we need to get there.
Yes,
and
know the routine.
Yeah, so we got there. I'm just trying to think, around about 9 o'clock, I think. Oh no, before then even. It was before then. And the queue was already formed, was already 2 bus loads long because we got on coach 3.
Wow.
So that was good. And we managed to get coffee and stuff. It was a very lovely atmosphere. Lovely, jolly people being just excited to be going to Twickenham. It was really good.
And you ended up in front of some very lovely people who...
I did, Chris and Heather Parr. That was really nice. So Chris was Courtney's first coach at Old Scouts and then coached East Midlands. So he'd also coached my son at the same time and with East Midlands.
And is it all-round top chap?
All-round top chap. And,
as is Heather.
And has promised to go to walking rugby.
Oh! What, both of them?
No, just Chris.
Just Chris. Wise woman, Heather. Yeah. Wise woman. Yes.
Yes. So we had great fun on the coach going down. The coach driver overshot the Rosebein car park.
Oops.
So he was trying to go in there. And he said, well, it said it was full. Yes, it's full, but you've got a ticket. You booked. Ugh. So we got him to let us off the coach and walk back rather than us having to... Well, he went all the way round, so that was fine. And then we meandered to the cabbage patch. I met loads of people along the way. It was just...
And Radio Northampton, Annabelle
I couldn't find her. I don't know what happened there.
Underground.
Well, I think it was so heaving in there, they realised it was not going to happen. So we did go to the cabbage patch, met up with another of our offspring who'd come by train from East London. And then we walked up to the ground and just mooched around and had a pasty and...
Doing what supporters do.
Doing what supporters do. Wandered around underneath the stands as you do, and again bumped into loads of people. So that was good fun. And then eventually took our seats, and I spoke to your husband, your IT department, who was sitting next to me, and I said, "Oh, hello, how are you? How's things?" or something words to that for the normal sort of niceties. And the chap in front of him, his head whipped round. He went, "You're Ladies Wot Pod?" And I went, "Oh, yes, I am." And so, hello, whoever you were. That was very nice.
Lovely to have you aboard.
Yes. So that was excellent. So then there was the game.
Oh, well, hold on.
Not got to the game yet.
Not got to the game yet. So I arrived at the ground at noon.
Noon?
Yes.
High noon?
Yes, for my long walk from the hotel to gate D. And because I didn't... Oh, God. She needs that tea, girls. She needs that tea.
Slightly dehydrated.
I
thought I'd just drink it while you were talking.
Well, no. And I so, didn't want to interrupt. So I got to gate D and 2 pints of Coke. She's anybody's.
No.
Or wired, anyway.
The 2 pints of Prosecco last night.
Well, yes.
Anyway,
don't go too soon on that one.
No, I won't.
Yeah. So I arrived at gate D, and because I had everything, it was all a bit bewildering because I could just walk, had my bag searched again, and little label put on it. And all the stewards were saying, "You'll win this." And I was going, "Please don't say that."
No, that's not our comfort zone.
Don't do that. And so I wandered into the press room. Now, it's 3 hours before kick-off, and it was a very busy photographer's room. Colin Elsley photographer's room. Here with the famous photo of Frank Cotton. So I got set up and agreed with the lovely Tony where I was going to be sitting, and I was joined by Adam and then later on Ketan. And Adam and I did the long walk in. That was good. That was very good. That was very impressive, the long walk in, I thought. Yeah, it went very well. Interesting how the logistics of that work. But because I was there, I got to meet lots of folks, including the lovely Tony Hewitt, the lovely John White, the lovely Nick Beale, Ella Bevan. Oh, so yes, I have. Yeah, Mark Darwin wandered past. So yeah, it was all as they were heading to the Spirit of English Rugby, I think it's called. Oh yeah. Heading, and I believe they were all in the Royal Box. In fact, I know they were because I was taking. The Royal Box. Ella was in the Royal Box. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Well, she is like royalty. And John White was with her, so he's obviously like royalty too. And so then the team arrived, and I have to say it all went rather well. I did nip down towards the gate because on the left, where as I was looking at it, was Mrs. Waller. Ah, yes. So said hello to Sue, and then pulled back. I was really pleased that the trophy was well out of harm's way because there is a famous story that DR tells that the Exeter Chiefs, the previous mascot, lifted up the cup and started running around with it. To which all the photographers went, "Well, you've lost." Yeah, well, exactly. With his kit on. Well, obviously he would have his kit on if he was the mascot. Yeah. Exeter got hammered that. Well, they would. Yeah. Always. Yep. So blame the mascot, everybody. But as it turned out, they didn't have the trophy there. They had it on the entrance to the pitch. Either side of it were "Please keep off the grass" signs. I love those signs at Twickenham. Please keep off the grass. Yes. Don't give our groundsman ideas. Mr. Miller's having them made up now. Yeah. So yes, very relaxed. Took the photographs. And then went back. Meanwhile, Bath were a bit late. Having announced that they were going to be 5 minutes early, they ended up being 10 minutes late. Oh. Yes. And you can imagine all the logistics of cameras and whatever. And it also delayed the toss, which of course none of you guys would have known. No. So I set myself up in position and away we went. But I actually did the worst schoolgirl error ever. What was that then? So Fremo does exactly what I tell him. Aim for the hat. Yes. Doesn't help when you put your camera on the wrong camera settings. That's not good. So I've got a series of brilliant watercolours. Oh! Okay. Yes. Oops. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't the winning try. which I did get perfectly. So I don't know why I did it, but I did it. It all happens to all of us.
Stress, nerves.
Well, I wasn't nervous.
When you say that, we obviously were.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not concentrating. I think it's more the point. So Tony, who runs the photography room, is utterly brilliant. Really, really good guy. Made sure we all were looked after. His wife Tracy was with him because big games, she comes in to help. And they are just a brilliant couple, do an amazing job. All of us who were involved in Croke Park remarked on the difference. It couldn't be more different. So thank you to Tony. And after the game, he was brilliant. But we'll talk more about that shortly. So the game, the weather went from raining to glorious sunshine.
Oh God, it was. I'm not.
I
still look a bit pink because I
right.
haven't catered for sunshine, and I hadn't really worked out that we'd be sitting in the sun as well.
Yeah, you were.
Like,
you were.
And
Yeah. So there were 30. I understand there were 30,000 Saints supporters in the ground, which. And they can do that because when you buy your ticket, you're either buying from Saints allocation, and anyone who's used the site, anything to do with the RFU, PRL site, the first thing you do is declare which club you support, so they could count them up. They know exactly.
Somebody said, and I can't remember who it was this week, there's been so much going on, that the Premiership Rugby has said they sold more tickets to Northamptonshire postcodes than any other club who's been in the final ever previously. So well done everybody. Well done everybody.
Top work. Yeah. And you could hear you were loud and proud, although I have to say the Bath supporters were very noisy.
They were noisy.
Well done to them. Done to them. So I have to say, unlike big game sunshine whatever it was, the atmosphere in the ground was brilliant.
It was fantastic.
You guys were, I have to say, Premiership Rugby put on a great show. It worked really, really well.
It was all very low key, wasn't it?
And friendly and kid friendly. There were loads of children. It wasn't it didn't feel too, without being rude, too corporate. It didn't feel too brand. It felt like it was a family day out.
It wasn't too contrived, was it?
No.
Because I felt that Jess Glynn concert or whatever it was before the big game summer in the rain
showdown
rubbish that was a bit too contrived. I don't think she enjoyed it because she was right in the middle of the pitch surrounded by rugby players who were trying to warm up, and she couldn't actually make any connection with the crowd, and I really don't think it worked. But the way Premiership Rugby, they got a DJ, but
she did very well.
She did really well.
Yeah, she did
playing
very well.
some fine sounds and other things going on, and it was really good. And then I thought having all the mascots come on with the flags was superb.
It went really well. It was a good. So well done to the team that put that together, because it did work really well. Yeah. And then so after the warm up, I trundled down to your end.
You were
to your end, and sat on my little. Well, no, it was my tall fishing stool at that end of the ground, and the game began. I don't think we're going to dwell too long on the game, are we? And we're not going to dwell too long on the game because for two reasons. One, we're not going to talk. The red card was a red card. I feel really, really sorry for Beno Abano. He's a fine player, and you don't want that to happen to anybody in a final. But it was a red card.
It was a red card,
and also it was a strange old game where Saints supporters ended up chewing the carpet again.
Again, always. We did things the Saints way. One of the Saints ways.
Well, to quote Vin Smith, we were rubbish in the second half.
Yeah, well, yes. I was going to say I had a similar conversation with Elliot Miller-Mills later on in the evening,
but he was a bit more blunt.
He was a bit blunter. Yes, it was. Yes, a round Scottish term was used, and I had to agree. But yes, and I think Courtney himself said in the interview, because I spoke to my mum, she of the answer phone message, and she said she watched it and was sitting there thinking, well, Saints aren't doing very well, are they? They're not. This is not very impressive. This is not what we're used to. And she thought she was imagining it until Courtney came on in his press conference and said, well, we were rubbish, but we still won. So she was, thank you, Courtney. I do know one.
Yeah. You're right there, Liz's mum.
Yeah.
So, but then there was a moment of magic.
There was
a moment of magic from a young lad who has. It just makes the hairs in the back of my neck go up when I talk about this. George Hendy, last March, was playing for the wonderful Bedford Blues. Running down that slope, his legs. Well, we know they're on the wrong way round.
Well, not everybody does. The woman sitting next to that did not know and did not understand.
Anyway, wonderful move.
Yeah.
Beautifully captured by Lewis, the videographer. We are blessed with Lewis. Yeah. He has taken some wonderful stuff, and I congratulated him on the work he's done for the Saints this season. Absolutely nailed it again. I actually got some decent photos, not that I processed them, but I've got that ahead of me. But then when Mitch, there was still a fair amount for Mitch to do to score it. Yeah. When Mitch scored, then I thought, this is it. I looked at the clock.
Yes.
73
and a half minutes. We were all looking at the clock.
73 and a half minutes. George, Sergeant Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the bid in for him to win the award again. Oh, well, that minute, he managed beautifully.
He did.
He managed that minute. Christoph wouldn't dare.
No.
Christoph did tell him there were so many seconds left, but he wasn't going to chivvy him like Luke.
And actually, Sergeant Wilson did say, can I use all the time, or words to that effect? And Christoph said, yes, you can use all the time. So he did.
Yeah, he managed him. Yeah.
And they can't charge till you start your run-up. There's some
4 seconds is the answer if anyone wanted to know what was going on. So, and then at that point, I decided to move.
Oh.
Having checked I could, which I could. So I moved to just before the technical area. I couldn't go in the technical area. Now, what's defined as the technical area is a bit difficult because it's a box, but actually it's 2 boxes. Anyway, I wanted a photograph of Alex, who was watching intently what was going on. So I walked into the tunnel area to take a photograph back. But Tony was frantically waving at me that lightning was about to hit me from on high. So I moved back again.
It was verboten, was it? Yeah.
But then what happened was the bench basically started getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the pitch. So those lovely, I don't know if you saw those grey benches that everyone was sitting on.
No, I don't know.
They were very nice, leatherette benches.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very posh.
Yeah, very nice. I don't know whether Waller and Woodworks had, done a special, but they look very nice. So Tony said, go and sit on the bench. And I went, I can sit on the bench. Ooh. And I ended up sat next to Curtis, who was like... couldn't watch what was going on at all. And
I don't think it was alone. I think there were quite a lot of people with their head in their hands, or it's like Doctor Who and the Daleks.
It was Doctor Who and the Daleks. But it was great because I knew the moment would come when something happens. Either they scored and it would all be over. But if we stayed ahead, when the final whistle went, there would just be this moment of sheer joy. And so I have this photograph, which I haven't published yet, which has got the likes of Tom Lockett and just going absolutely
ballistic.
Nuts. And then the first 2 players who were actually playing that I got a photo of were Alex Waller and Finn Smith hugging each other and not letting go. I'm afraid, Sue, you don't stand a chance with that one. You don't stand a chance, and likewise Judith, you just don't stand a chance. It's an incredibly emotional photo, and then it was that
the end of it. We were saying we weren't sure that, because there was so much noise going on, whether or not Christoph had actually blown the whistle.
He did, and then the TMO stepped in because he
wanted
to check
and then there was
rip.
Sort of stuff going on, and then I realised that Christoph was shaking the hands of people, and I thought, well, he's not going to have done that if it's a penalty, is he? No. So, not unless he's got a bet on. Not that he would have, and there was no suggestion. No, not at all. But yes, and I says, well, no, it is. Well, we have won, and then we went to. Then I just burst into tears, I think.
Oh well, I managed to hold it together.
I know, yeah, but I wasn't working, so it didn't matter.
Well, yes, but I wandered around on the pitch a lot. I took a lot of photographs of various people, and people I was really delighted to be able to take photos of who weren't going to be in all the big trophy lift photos. I have to say, I did get a little bit emotional taking that trophy lift photo because I've been so desperate to take it. And I didn't lie down on the ground. And to be
honest, you'd still be there, wouldn't you?
Well, Phil Mingo, who is anyone who knows Phil, is just an absolute delight. Does a lot of work for Gallagher and the Premiership. And he was lying down on the ground, and he got up and he said, "Claire, don't move." And I went, "Okay." He went, "Because you can't, can you?" And I went, "No." And so he helped me. And then Adam Gums, who's my partner in crime, one of the many photographers, he handled the winners board, the honours board. I shot diagonally. So Adam shot diagonally for the trophy lift. I shot diagonally for... and it was great. It was really, really good. There were lots of little moments of players together, players who were leaving, players who were staying, players who've just arrived.
Yes. Top secret players.
Yeah. So yes, it was great to see everybody. Ed Prowse, your dancing is rubbish.
Absolute pants.
A legend that Ed Prowse. We're going to have to educate you, my friend.
Yeah.
Awful. Very, very poor. Anyway.
Well, he was whatever he was dancing to in his head probably fitted his moves, but
well, it certainly didn't fit the music.
No.
I was delighted to be able to take photographs of, it's just little things like Mark Darban and his children on the pitch. Because I said to Mark, "Well, why don't you take your kids on the pitch?" And he went, "Oh yes." I said, "Well, if you don't do it today, you're never going to do it." Obviously Douse is an absolute star. There he is, biggest game of the season. He fetches his kids and they look at him and he's wandering around. He thought, no, I'm going to get my ball. So he goes and rescues a ball out of that, and you just think, this is lovely to see. There was a lot of family photographs at the far end that I didn't get involved in. My job became don't let Courtney move.
Oh.
I was Courtney monitor.
Good grief, that's a hell of a...
I think Tony had a big ask of me there.
Yeah.
Because the idea was that...
Slightly terrifying, because if he wants to move...
Well, I did actually have to say something, but he realised it was important, being the captain. Because they were trying to rescue the trophy back from all the families and all the rest of it going on, because, hoppers, yes, we did need the trophy back. So that we could have a photograph of just Courtney with the trophy. And then we also got Alex Waller in there as well. So my job was to not let Courts move. But what we did, because we fooled him, because Sarah Orchard got him on Radio 5. So he was being interviewed by David Flatman. I thanked Mr. Flatman, because I did say this win is partly down to you and your speech at the dinner. Don't you think? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he predicted it.
He did.
And he congratulated her. He's such a lovely man.
Such a nice man.
Even, man of Bath, and he's so gracious. Yeah. And he did say, as you know, I predicted it. You right, absolutely did, Mr. Flatman. And so what we did was we directed Courtney to his next interview, which was Sarah Orchard. Now, anyone who knows Sarah, who's a lovely lady, Courtney, Sarah... She actually was holding the microphone like this.
Oh, that...
I felt so sorry for it. Anyway, yes. So by then, Adam and Tony had wrestled the trophy off the collected families at the bottom, and we were able to keep the Tog Arati happy with their photos. So that was good.
Excellent.
And there were some little moments. Lewis, probably, I don't think anybody spotted it. But Lewis took a moment and just went and stood in the middle of the pitch.
Oh, no, don't. You'll set me off again.
Yeah, but and there, a camera is not appropriate.
No.
I mean, I only noticed it because he's in the background. I was checking my photos and thought, Lewis is there. And then I peered round and there he was, just stood there taking in the scene. Joel Matavesi wins the award for being completely K-lied before the game.
Before the game.
I
thought the legend that was Ed Prowse was
quite well oiled.
Quite well oiled,
yes.
Yeah.
And his celebrations were magnificent on the pitch. Him and his brother. They were very good. Dave Rogers wins that. I really should be looking where I'm going, falling over.
Oh no, that was spectacular. Spectacular. Yeah.
Yes.
Well done, Dave.
Nobody warned him that there were drinks there. Yep.
Don't think anybody else noticed, really.
No. Down he went like a sack of spuds.
Absolutely.
And
backwards.
Yes. And then it was on into the changing room.
Yeah. I know you hate that bit.
No, I don't.
Really?
Well, actually, it was a bit dangerous in there for reasons. So, as always happens with these things. Oh yeah, okay. As always happens with.
So
these
whilst
things,
we're talking about it,
I like the fact that this one's still got its label.
I know.
On. As always happens with these things, for those of you, actually, we didn't say this at the start.
No.
We are wearing goggles
for this reason.
Because when the I'm not going to say champagne. What was ever in those bottles that was fizzy? Because I don't imagine for 1 minute it was champagne.
It wasn't champagne.
No.
Yeah. Oh, but it was Carver.
Yeah, it probably was. And a lot of beer and generally just a lot of mayhem. When the trophy arrived with Lewis, it was mayhem. And what that meant was the floor got ever wetter and wetter. So the reason they're all wearing goggles, this will be the 4th time I've explained this, the reason they're wearing goggles is American sportsmen are wusses. Is all I'm going to say. Because they always wear, so your NBA players, your Major League Baseball players. So when the Red Sox, Boston Red Sox, who I'm about to go and see in the next couple of weeks, won the World Series in 2004, they're all there wearing their goggles.
For those of you listening in black and white, Claire and I have got ski goggles on.
Yeah, we're looking like the lads were.
Well,
yeah.
we're not actually.
We are. We're down with the cool kids.
We're down with the cool kids with the ski.
We're not.
Ski,
actually, they're not. My mirrored one. You see yours.
Mine.
Yours look like more like welding.
Well, they possibly are welding goggles. These are very old ones. Look, all the elastic's gone and everything. I mean, you've got the really cool flies.
Yeah. They're all wearing. They look very mirrored. And,
yeah. Mine. I just look like. Yeah.
Anyway, so the idea is that you put these on, and then when champagne and whatever's being sprayed all over it doesn't get in your eyes, and you don't get red eye, and it's horrible. Anyway, but for years to come, people are going to go, is that such and such in the goggles?
It's quite difficult to tell.
It is very difficult to tell who you are, players.
But
you know who you are.
They didn't want to be parted from their goggles, did they?
No, they were still wearing them today.
Yeah.
Yes. They just thought they were cool. So there was much dancing. Well, actually, no, there was the Shoe Army song.
Yeah.
Led by George Hendy and the 4 main levers. And sung with much gusto. I think Dave Rogers experienced that for the first time, and he loved every minute of it.
Oh, right, yes.
Yes, because of course he's not normally in the changing room. No. But he loved every minute of it, and it was just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And then we had a series of dances. They are a very dancey team.
Well, it did say it was going to the big dance, the last dance.
The last dance was danced within a minute.
So who danced then?
So Kira Ruddy, of course, had to dance because it's tradition. So Kira, for those of you who don't know, is part of the S&C team. Wonderful lady, and was in 2014 said she would dance an Irish jig if the lads won the trophy, and of course they kept her to her word. And that time I didn't get any photos because they were in the other changing room and it was incredibly cramped, but I did witness the dance. So yesterday she was told she had to repeat it because it's now tradition, but we had to mop the floor. So a lot of towels came out to make sure that we didn't actually kill Kira in the act of dancing, and she did. She danced beautifully, yes, and the lads looked on. But then it was Trocky, Jano.
Oh yes.
It was Chunya. And it was Douse dancing. Well, leading a song.
Oh, okay. Douse dad dancing.
I'll let you say that to him. I'm not saying anything. So, but there was a lot of.
Don't tell him, Fergs, what I said. Don't tell him.
He'll be listening. So yes, so there was a lot of community singing that took some time. So normally what happens is, I say normally, it makes it sound like it happens every week. Very rapidly in the past when I've done this, and I've done it a couple of times, it goes to photos with each of the players with the trophy. That didn't happen last night. It was really communal. It was really friendly. Very rapidly, we did get into more singing and more this. So we left them, and the changing rooms is so huge in the England changing room. There's a little annex.
Oh,
so Douse summoned a group of us to the annex, and I had my photograph taken with the coaches.
Nice.
Absolutely, Tarek Afar, you're brilliant, mate. You're brilliant.
Oh, yes,
he took the photo, and I'm so proud of that photo because it's been a brilliant season. And yeah, I got a bit, I hung on in there. And then it was just, yes, it was groups of photos. But by now, you see the difference between 2014 and today is your iPhones these days are pretty good. They were a bit ropey in 2014. Yeah. Today, they're very, very good. So a lot of what we were doing in 2014, we don't quite need to do in the way we do today. But yeah, it was really, really lovely to spend some time with the players. And then I headed off because all of us were hurtling up.
We're hurtling up the various motorways to get back to the club, ready to greet the team when they came back.
Yes.
Triumphant.
Well, we had a bit of a false start because we had the first bus.
Yes, so we're all standing there, and this bus hove into view, and we're going, "Is the bus what?" And nobody got off, and nobody appeared to be on it.
Well, I think some people got off, but I think they were family related.
It was the family bus, not
something like that.
not the bus.
The boys,
so it was a bit strange. And then the boys arrived.
So I was there to get the general scene. That is the supporters' time. It's not my. I know I'm a supporter. But I've done my bit. So I tried to get shots of the general scene. And then they they were in the captain's bar.
Yeah.
And then they were coming into the Rodber to
do bits.
Actually do a lot. As you witnessed,
yeah,
Mrs.
there was a lot of singing going on.
There was a lot of singing going on. And I have to say, once the singing began, I escaped back home because
home I didn't.
I needed to go home.
You were absolutely wiped out, weren't you? You were completely exhausted.
I was.
I wasn't. I was just getting.
She was just warming up.
I was.
Just warming up. So what was your? No, actually, I've got a highlight.
Yeah, go on.
So she says, "Radders, where's Radders?" And so my IT department spots him. He goes, "Oh, he's over there. He's walking towards the car." So I went, "You head off."
I did.
Off, and I thought, we've got to get a photo here. Hurtled she did across the VIP car park. I thought, we've got to get a photo. So I
rugby tackled him and everything.
Yeah.
It's a good defensive tackle.
It was.
I'm signing me up.
Yeah. And so what does she do, ladies and gentlemen? What does she do?
Well, I hugged him.
Yes. And then you assailed him with the story of La Rochelle and his
predecessor's father standing with us
as we witnessed that demolition.
No defence whatsoever. Because he said, I thanked him for what he'd done, and he said, I've not done out. And I went, well, obviously you have, because I stood on the terrace at La Rochelle 18 months ago with your predecessor's father, when there was a lot of staring at the ceiling and. Well, there wasn't a ceiling, the sky, looking at the floor, the group of us that were there, whilst there's the defence was, I don't even know, Marshmallow would have seemed a bit more defensive. It was awful.
We described it when we were talking about it afterwards as a low point.
It was a low point.
Fabulous weekend away.
Yeah.
Not the rugby. So,
So yeah, that's all. I just was comparing.
No, it's very good. Very good.
And he promised he'd come to walking rugby.
Ooh. Well, we know what Sam Mattabasi said about that.
Yeah.
So, yes. And so I did get a nice photo of you.
You did. Lovely photo.
Yes, nice photo of you. So I did my job. And so you just kept on partying, didn't you?
I kept on partying and hugging people and partying.
Strangers in the street.
All sorts of randoms. I just had a ball, really. Just had an absolute blast. I saved Mooney from himself with drinking Prosecco. I helped him drink it because, I thought, very good. I didn't want to.
You did take one for the team, didn't you?
I did.
In fact, several by the time.
So it was just brilliant, and just all round fabulous evening. I think it was. Yeah.
You could tell. So we wandered back down the car park and bumped into Douse, who gave Dr. Jones a drink out of the ice box, rescued a cider, handed it to him.
Oh, that was nice.
That was very good, yeah.
So I did have a quick chat with Douse and said, are you looking forward to your holiday? And he said, yes, I am. And he's going off on holiday. And he said, it won't be that much of a rest because he's taking the 2 kids. And I went, yeah, but it's only 2. And he went, oh, yes, good point.
Yes.
So, not how many you're normally trying to herd. Off he went. But, it was just party central in the Rodber. Douse and Sam Vesti leading. I don't know how many times the Shoe Army song was sung. It was a lot. A very lot.
Well, by the sound of Alex Coles' voice this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, it's going to say he'd only led it a couple of times. And all sorts of people kept coming and starting it and going again. It was all a bit mental.
It was
all a bit mental.
It was a bit. It was a bit. So eventually, you all crawled into whatever.
Yeah,
bed. Got home.
Yeah.
Some parents found hotels.
Yeah. Some parents who just got no plan.
Just headed off.
Into the wilds. Yes.
And came
you
west.
know who we're talking about.
And then it did bring a toothbrush,
I don't know.
No, anyway. Well done, top work. And so I faffed about with a few photos this morning. Thank you to everybody who has bought the trophy lift photo. My phone, I've had a few people buy, which is great. Everybody, please do buy the photo. It all goes towards the wheelchair rugby guys, who are, a wonderful bunch, and it's an expensive sport these days, so they need all our support. So thank you to everyone who has already bought the trophy lift photo, the one that I dreamt about taking so many times. So thank you. And yes, futzed around with some photos and then came back. So, for the second time in less than 12 hours, we were back at the gardens.
Well, you were back at the gardens. I was at the Guildhall waiting.
Yes. Waiting. Yes, and Dr. T joined you.
He did, yes.
Man in a wig.
Yeah.
Which he was wearing yesterday.
Yeah.
It was very helpful, the combination of lime green and that wig.
Yeah.
You could see him from a long time. Way away. And I was on the fun bus.
Yes.
Along with Lewis and Tom Croix. And the lovely Dave Rogers walked in front of the bus. He was like the man with the red flag walking in front of cars. Walked in front of the bus, taking some absolutely amazing photos. And we went all the way from the gardens to the Guildhall.
Were there people lining the route the whole way?
Most of the way, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
And at the very end, what happened was, in fact, no, it wasn't even the very end. Right from St James, there were people walking with the bus all the way from St James.
Oh.
You were absolute superstars, all of you who walked, and the players really appreciated it. And of course, we headed up in past the old Black Lion. And then up through into
Gold
town.
Street,
Gold Street.
We were
round the church.
It was brilliant because at the Guildhall, Pete was getting
the fabulous Pete Nuttall.
Pete, was getting texts saying, they've left the gardens. So that's quite exciting. Then. About 10 minutes later, they're only at the Thomas à Becket. We could be here for some time.
We went very slowly because there were lots. And actually, by the time you got into town, there were people in windows. You remember the 2003 World Cup England team?
Yeah.
Dave was relaying stories of that, about how bitterly cold it was on that bus.
Oh, that was November.
And again, December by the time they got back.
Yeah.
Was it maybe in the end of November? Yeah. On the first floor windows, we had people waving at us. It was lovely. So well done, Northampton. You did the town proud.
Huge. Actually, the crowds were they were more than I expected.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Yeah. Very loud, very raucous. Lots of flags.
Yeah,
and the bloke IT department in his wig.
Yes.
It was great. So we actually had a very traditional photo as we came off the bus on the steps, but then they'd actually put a stage up which enabled Pete to talk to the crowd and introduce various local
dignitaries. Well, I say dignitaries, yeah.
Being from Cambridge, straight over my head.
Well, I was going to say, being from West Northampton as it is now, that went over my head, and I don't know why they were there, because they'd given nothing. Then, and also, I mean...
She's off.
I'm off now. Wait. So, this is bringing people into the town. This is a real big boost for the town. BBC Radio Northampton's van had got a parking ticket. Can you believe that? How unbelievably... Does this not sum up the stupidity of the officialdom? So you got the mayor and the leader of the West Northampton... The mayor was very good, though. The mayor was very good. Yeah, leader of the West Northampton Council and various other dignitaries going, oh, it's absolutely marvellous, da-da-da. Meanwhile, their parking minion is slapping a ticket on the BBC Northampton van. And they've got permission to park there.
Yes, well, I'm sure they'll get the money back.
I'm sure they will, but it's just you just think, dear God, some people, what a job's worth. Anyway, that's my rant.
She's off her soapbox.
Yes, thanks, good. Calm now.
Anyway, so then there were lots of photographers there were lots of people there were lots of film crews there, but actually then what happened is it sort of cleared out a bit, the photographers left, and that's when I stepped on the stage and started doing, which I actually think was what the players and the crowd wanted, which is where you get those shots of the trophy, players holding it up, and the crowd in the background. And yeah, there were loads and loads and I loved the fact I could take photographs of Mark Darbin and his commercial team. Yeah, it was lovely. It was just lovely. The players, the coaches. Kev Buckby, you are an absolute superstar, coming up with the idea of actually putting together everybody who was still with the club from 2014.
Ah, yes.
So that photo is fantastic. And they're all, I'll let people work out who was in it.
Yes.
But there are quite a few who are still connected with the club.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. So there are a lot of players and members of staff and people associated with the Northampton Saints who will have photos and of course I am wearing a magnificent creation created by the lovely Angus Scott Young.
And are these all your photos?
These are all my photos. Angus very kindly rang me up and said, Claire, how do I get hold of photos without watermarks? And are you happy? And I went, absolutely I am.
Brilliant.
So
and on the back
are all the names.
All the names of the whole of the squad.
Yeah. Now my understanding is these will go on sale soon. So should be good.
Good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I took quite a few photos, didn't I?
You did, didn't you?
I did like the fact that Dave Rogers was checking to see if they weren't Gettys. Cheeky. He's such
varmint.
a one.
What a varmint.
Yes. No, you're not sending the bill. Because they're mine. So, yes. But actually, standing on that bus was quite hard work.
You were a bit wobbly when you came off, weren't you?
Well, I felt slightly seasick because I don't have my left Achilles, as Lee Daggett will tell you, and Kira knows about this as well, is a bit suspect. And I was having a full workout.
So you had to brace for quite a long time, didn't you?
I had to brace for, and so I did feel slightly wobbly in the legs when I got off. But it was great. It was lovely. It was actually quite difficult taking anything meaningful on the bus.
Yeah, there were a bit sardines at the top.
There were sardines, but it was lovely to see everybody, and they were clearly enjoying themselves, and they'd earned it.
They had absolutely earned it. I think the joy in the alcohol fumes. No naked flames needed to be anywhere near that squad this afternoon, but the joy emanating from them. And my daughter sent me a message and said, what a stressful game it was to watch on the telly, and she thought it was very mean of the Saints boys to make people cry with their celebrations. But it really shows that they're a bunch of mates as well as being teammates, and I think you got that again today with the Guildhall thing. You could
absolutely. They loved and they appreciated the crowd. Absolutely. And they are the most approachable bunch.
Yeah.
They are very friendly, even slightly K-Lied at the minute, but no, very K-Lied at the minute. They're very friendly. They understand that the supporters help them get over the line as well. The supporters play a huge part. So congratulations to everybody involved in setting that up. Mm-hmm. It went very well. There was much discussion about the stage, because the number of people who walked past the Guildhall and it wasn't there, they're getting slightly nervous, so we wondered what was going to happen, but it worked beautifully.
Really well. And the band,
the band were great,
who've been wandering around the gardens.
They've been wandering around for a while, haven't they?
They have, yes. The Hornbrokers, you're a fine bunch of lads. They kept us occupied while we were waiting for the bus to slowly make its way through the streets, and they were a superb bunch, and the musicians and entertainers as well, so they were giving us a chat beforehand. And the trombone player can do an impression of a Spitfire fly.
Well, that's very apt, given the recent remembrance events.
Yeah.
But yes.
So it was all really good. And Mrs. Coles, it's all right. Alex gave me a hug last night. I did point out, what would your mother say if you wouldn't? Oh no, God, must give you a hug. So and George Hendy as well. Yes. Laura is okay. He acted fine. So, although I think he was still wearing his kit today.
Well, he was wearing one of these.
He was wearing one of those, but he still got his shorts and socks on. A lot of them had. Yeah, still got muddy legs by the look of things. A lot of them had not been anywhere near.
Unlike George and Finn.
George and Finn. Oh,
have you seen the photo? They were in the baths.
Oh yes. No, I've not seen the photo yet.
I was quite glad the soap suds were where they were.
Oh, good.
Yes, with the trophy. And the wretched cigars.
Cigars?
Yeah, there's a lot of cigars.
Thank goodness, and they were making a meal of those cigars. Several of them,
they got them the wrong way round.
Yeah, and they were chewing the ends of God only knows what was going on. But it was, So anyway. There was some poor chap I think it was Mooney, had got his lighter, and, it was a non-lighter by the time Mooney failed to light this cigar, and then Hutch gave it a go as well, and he said, "Oh, he's got a very moist mouth, Mooney, and it's too wet on the edge." I was like, that was way too much information.
Too much information.
Anyway, it was all a bit loose by then, I think.
It continued to be loose.
Yeah. I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess how loose it is by now.
I think they're still going. I think they're going back for round 27.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be well loose, isn't it? That's
very loose. Very loose.
And one or two players were, in a state of complete disrepair last night.
Well, amazingly, they managed to repair themselves enough to get on the bus.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to stop them getting on that bus.
No, they were there.
So, so we are the Gallagher Premiership champions.
Yay! That sounds so good.
Which is just brilliant, and well done to everybody associated with the club.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
And all the supporters. When they say it makes a difference, it really does.
Yeah.
Absolutely does. Congratulations to Phil Dowson and his coaches.
Yes.
They work so hard, and I'm not just saying that. It's the ingenuity that gets me. The lateral thinking, the just coming up with stuff that you think, oh yeah, that's clever. I never thought that. Forever, I think we will be wondering what the shape of our D is.
And who knows it?
Apart
from Dingers, we think is the only one who knows the shape of the D.
Always knows the shape of the D. Yeah. So... It's been a season to remember. I've got one little bit of news that, of course, happened earlier in the week, haven't I?
Oh, yes, you have. Yeah, congratulations are in order.
Yes.
To my fellow podist. Podder?
I don't know, podist. I don't know.
I quite like podist myself. Yeah, so what have you done again?
3rd year running.
Yeah.
I am a finalist, thanks to Mr. Tom Seabrook.
Yeah. Yes. And one of his Superman dives. Where he bent the flag.
Yeah. And managed to score the try, with Gabriel Ibit-Toy looking slightly crestfallen in the air.
Yes.
So it's one of the finalists. I haven't won anything yet. Although Tom rightly said, well, share of the proceeds, Claire.
Did he?
You did. Which, of course, Tom, I've got no idea. It's probably a £10 book token.
If you're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really proud because...
so it's the World Sports
Photography Awards. Worth going and have a look, because there's really good
There
stuff.
are some fantastic...
There's some really good stuff. And the World's Photographers. It's the biggest competition in the world now. It's been going for several years. And what it's done is it's got bigger, it's got harder to get the finalists. So I'm really chuffed. And my friend Kelly, who's from Texas, had to get a dictionary to understand what the word chuffed meant.
Brilliant.
So yes, I'm really, really pleased. Now, apparently my iPhone has the continuity camera's got a problem. That's nice for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Jodrell Bank of podcasting software has just sent us a message.
Oh.
So, Liz, we at some point need to gather. We're being media tarts tomorrow.
We are being media tarts in the morning, but by the time this goes out, we'll have done it.
Yes.
So, Radio Northampton, I'll catch up just about any time over this weekend I'm on. But in the morning, Monday morning, you're on first, and then I'm in the studio with Marianne, with Maz Avery.
Radio Northampton, a bit surprised to find that I live in Cambridge. But anyway, yes, I do. And no, I'm not driving into Radio Northampton for 7 o'clock in the morning from Cambridge. Not happening. One of the reasons is I'm off on my holidays.
You're on your jollies, aren't you? Tomorrow night down to Heathrow, and then
I'm off. Woo! And so I'll be taking my laptop with me, because there's no way I'm going to get through all the photos in time.
You've got about 3 million. We guessed.
Yeah, lots of different people want lots of different photos, so it'll give me something to do on my multi-hour flight.
Yes, and don't forget the Supporters Club photos, because I'll have to do my little write-up.
It's all about her, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
It is all about me.
It's all about her.
Come on, you know.
Yes. Do you want the game? Post-match celebration?
Yes.
A portion of chips?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yes, I will make
just
sure.
Just a little vignette of something nice.
Yes. We'll do a selection from the day.
Smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord of excitement. Yeah. And we have to say that Mrs. Coles has done her homework
brilliantly.
So our awards pod will be coming out in the next couple of weeks or so.
We're both on holiday for a while, so when we get together, probably in about 3 weeks, you've got a bit of a rest.
A rest. We're going to have a midsummer
end of season
end of season awards, and it's going to be live from Mrs. Coles' place. Yeah.
Whatever. We've been promised cake and coffee.
We've been promised. Yeah, we're heading over, and so we're going to do. And Olivia asked us to say hello to her friend Claire, and another friend whose name escapes me, and I'm really letting the side down. But hang on, she's going to look it up. Yes, an old friend who was a Saints supporter and Saints season ticket holder. So I've done really badly there, haven't I?
You have.
That was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Yes, so we will be doing an end of season awards pod like no other.
Like no other awards you would have ever heard.
No, and there's a few debates about some of the awards.
Well, there is. Yes. There is. Most of them I'm happy with.
Now, talking of which, we've awarded Sergeant Wilson. We're not actually going to award
anything
for Player of the Match.
No.
Because
to be honest.
No, they're all winners. Don't start.
They're all winners. Okay, they're all winners. I mean, George got the official one, which was, for his moment of absolute
genius and skill
and legs.
Yeah.
Right, let me find the name of this person
because it's very important because they've had a major input into
it.
Where's the technology's letting her down?
It's all very slow. It's
because your network's full of this, probably.
Oh, probably. We'll get there in a minute. I could just scroll down, but I can't. Oh, here we are. Got it. So, Andy Gillett.
Andy Gillett. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we're going to go over to Coles Country. And for coffee, cake, and awards,
and meet some of these people who've contributed to the awards nominations. What an awards!
You're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen.
It's absolutely marvellous.
So episode 31.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who continues to give us feedback, and we're now getting feedback in the most random ways, aren't we?
Random.
Sitting down at Twickenham and finding the person in front of you is a listener
who didn't know anything who I was or anything to lie at my mouth. So, and that's happening more and more. So
spread the word. Yeah. Absolutely spread the word, and
subscribe to us and feedback, and just say
stay with us. We will be back. We have a pre-season already planned.
We have a couple of things planned, actually.
2 or 3 things planned.
Yeah.
So we will be back in the autumn.
Well, before the autumn, probably.
With the pre-season stuff.
With the pre-season, yeah.
But before then, we will do our awards event.
Yes.
Liz, have a lovely holiday.
Yeah, and you.
Actually, we're going for a curry in a minute.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
It's becoming traditional now. So we're off for a curry. But then you're off to America,
yes. So watch out. This T-shirt is going to be seen in a lot of different places.
I'm off to Sardinia. I like fish.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sunshine.
Sunshine.
Thank you all so much for bearing with us for 31 weeks.
Yes. Amazing. That random message I sent you.
Yeah.
And look at this.
And it's led to this. And we'll be back in about 3 weeks' time, and then we'll do pre-season. And thank you all. Thank everybody for it. It's been a blast.
It's been a blast. Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah.
We are the champions.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.